Welcome back to another episode of Robin Avis Ramble. Another hike today to do some chatting.
Ooh, we should call these segments Robin Avis Ramble on the Trail.
Robin Avis Ramble on the Trail. I don't know. You think it'll catch?
I don't know.
We've been out here for a bit already, but I was trying to time it so that we could kind of take you all to the peak with us. We're headed to a peak today. It's right here in the high desert. It's already snowing in the high elevations around here, but this peak is, I don't know, 6,500, 7K, somewhere in there, and should get some great views. Anyway, that's not really the main reason I drug the camera out. So I thought, this morning actually, before we left, I started following a guy named Steve, Mr. Steve.
Mr. Steve,
Mr.
okay.
Steve. And he made a post, and he said, you should never stop dating your spouse.
Oh, true story.
I think he specifically maybe said wife, but I think that's the intent. Maybe he said spouse. Maybe he did say spouse. Anyways, he said that, it's good if you have children for them to see their parents dating. And I agree with that. I know Tyler, he talks about this a lot too. I don't know specifically in that context, but just in the context of dating your spouse. And I thought maybe a good topic for us to kick around. What's the matter? You hear something up there?
Yeah, maybe.
Avis gets a little sketchy sometimes when we're out here. This is good. We are in prime mountain lion country right now. Hence the pack on my chest. But I doubt we'll see one. It's pretty rare to see them.
Yeah.
But they're out here. And mostly they wouldn't leave you alone. It would just be a problem, if we threatened them or they're young in some way. Just like it'd be a problem with people if you did the same thing. So, anyway. So, I thought maybe you and I could talk about, just out of our experience, how important is this dating your spouse, no matter how long you've been together, and practically, whoa, almost took a little misstep there. What does that look like? And, maybe we could talk about the ideal, right?
Yeah.
And then we can kind of get into, the ideal in every marriage isn't possible for various reasons. And so what's some things you could do that are still in the spirit of the ideal that work for you?
Yeah, I think everybody can tackle the quote basics of the ideal, because to me, dating your spouse is just that undivided attention, maybe a little flirting throughout the day. So I think the essence of it can be captured at any budget or any time allowance.
So,
is my opinion.
Okay, so you're saying dating your spouse is as much of an attitude, if not more, than kind of tangible, materialistic ways you might date them.
Yes.
Okay.
Like this week we had a busy week. And I know one day I said to you, I feel like I didn't see you all day. And we haven't spent any time together today.
Yes.
And then last night you were like, hey, my day's done early. Let's sit on the sofa and watch a movie together. That's a date.
Yes.
You said to me, sit here with me. I want to spend time with you. And that made me feel special.
Yeah. So, I think it can be, it doesn't have to be those, I think you're exactly right. Yeah. There's ways to make it work. And maybe that's more like, I don't know that I'd call it a modification, because I like what you're saying about it being the attitude. It's really the attitude, and then you apply you know, ways to express the attitude.
Yeah.
So what do you think in terms of the attitude? What are some of those attitudes? I mean, how should people be thinking about what that really means? I know you mentioned, you know, a couple of like, you're kind of playfully flirting throughout the day and you know, those things. But like, are there other ways you can think of? I mean, what is it?
Yeah. So, like one of the ways that I quote date you is some days I dress up a little nicer. Like I put more effort into my looks, and I know that you're going to appreciate and acknowledge that. And so that's sort of like a way that we have a casual date, if you will. Like I'm just making you aware that I understand what you really appreciate out of me when I have the time and dedication to put into my self-care. That kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, making sure you understand that if you're working and having a busy day, I don't mind making your lunch and bringing it to you. Or, you know, I think dating is recognizing the other's love language and catering to it. And I think that's a day in and day out thing. And then on the super special dates, like when you say, hey, let's go grab a nice dinner at a nice restaurant, I appreciate that. And that's also a time that we both put a little more effort into our looks for the evening. Like that's more like classic dating, you know. Boy gets ready at his house, girl gets ready at her house, boy picks up girl and takes her out on a planned schedule of events. So that's like the classic dating, and I appreciate that too. And I appreciate the opportunity to feel that again in our relationship when you're like, hey, I want to take you out, you know, take on as much time as you want getting ready, and then let's go do this special thing that I've planned and picked out for you. I like that too.
Okay. I knew you'd have a lot to say on this topic. It's no accident that I saw that this morning. It's like, ooh, this would be a good thing to talk about.
Yeah. I enjoy the dating aspect of our marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't, marriage should not get stale. When marriage gets stale, marriage gets in trouble.
Yeah.
And, you know, people move from dating towards marriage because they found some kind of excitement in the relationship. And if you can't keep that excitement going, I think you're going to be, you know, you're going to have some rocky times.
For sure. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think when we were on Gia McCool's Spaces on the extinction of marriage, at the end, you know, she asked, why do we like being married? And I laugh at my answer because, I don't know, on the spot, I just went very superficial. And what I said was, I enjoy being chased by you.
Yeah.
But that's true. Like, I enjoy the days when there's a little more flirting energy between us. You know, a few more butt taps or grabs than usual.
Yeah.
Because it lets me know in a nonverbal way, I appreciate you, I enjoy what you're doing, and maybe tonight we'll have sex.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we talked a little bit about this before in the context of sex, but, you know, and really what is it that makes sex good for a woman versus what makes sex good for a man? And I think the answers are a little bit different, but it plays into this dating thing, which is, you know, women, if I understood, the answer that you gave correctly, is part of the sexual enjoyment for women is kind of being the object of that sexual desire.
Yeah.
And which, I don't think you have to look any further than OnlyFans and, all this sort of stuff to understand that is absolutely true. Like, I think, people would argue that these women are doing this for money, and I have no doubt that is in part it. But I also do think they get some gratification in being like, holy crap, I am such the object of desire of men to the tune of I'm making tens of millions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
For the ones that are doing it, right?
For sure.
And I would be assured there's probably some sort of gratification in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I know from talking to a few of my friends who are doing OnlyFans that it definitely plays in.
Yeah, which is
Whoa.
so it's just interesting to me that it's so prolific that we know some people that are actually doing that. Now, to my knowledge, I don't think they're like crushing it, but they're doing it for a reason. And maybe that's even more argument that if they're not crushing it and you're still doing it.
Yeah.
Like, why? So, if you're struggling in your marriage as the man, and you're out there satisfying those needs you have by making some other woman the object of your desire, turn that into dating your wife and making her the object of that desire.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find you might get some pretty vast improvement in your marriage.
Yeah. Not that long ago, we talked about ways to see your spouse in positive light, because the reality is everybody has flaws, everybody has expectations, and our spouse may not be meeting 100% of that expectations list 100% of the time. So focusing on like the things that she does well, or in the time that you have little kids, appreciate what a good mother she is. Rob works from home. I try to bring him breakfast and lunch, and appreciating those things. If maybe you're struggling with other areas, focus on the good and try to have some grace for the bad.
Yeah. So if I were to challenge you on the spot here.
Ooh.
To a fight. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, to a fight? You
Don't
win.
make this like-
I'm just gonna play dead. I didn't bring any weapons today.
No. To challenge you to, from a woman's point of view, what would be like the top 5 ways that a man can be communicating, just to give a very practical list. What are practical things a man can do to communicate to his wife that he is actually dating her versus just being in this kind of relationship that just exists because you're married?
Yeah, so as maybe hokey to some people as it sounds, maybe not so much to others, but knowing your wife's love language, like, does she appreciate you touching her butt or wrapping your arms around her or giving a kiss on the cheek and telling her she's pretty, or does she want flowers? Like, meeting her where she will appreciate your actions the most to the best of your ability is a great place. Talking to her, asking her what she would like in the marriage that you could be bringing to the table. I think both of those are very important. Planning a date. Even if she says she wants to be in control, I feel most women, talking about the bell curve again, love it when their man comes to them and says, hey, I planned us a date.
Yeah.
I got us a babysitter if that's what you needed to do, you know.
I have seen Tyler specifically talk about this issue and how important it is.
Yeah.
And his recommendations to people and the knowledge he's sharing.
Yeah. I think, you know, like I said, most women super appreciate that. Like, not only did they not have to put any effort into it, except for the effort that they want to put in to acknowledge your effort, you planned it. It was easy. And you're taking charge, you're taking the leadership role. And then women obviously being open to allowing your mate to do that. What else? Is that 3 things? What'd you ask for? 5
I
things?
said 5. I mean, if you can't come up with 5, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. I think also acknowledging, like, we have a deal. I have a job to maintain myself and the house and raise the kids. Sometimes I can't do all of those to the level that I would really like to be doing. So make sure you prioritize that with your wife so that she knows, like, hey, if I didn't have enough time to get the house in shape like I would want today, but I dipped out of that early to spend 45 minutes getting myself a little more presentable for you. Like, if that's what's important to you, which is something we've talked about, make sure that that's understood as well. Like, I'd rather you look nice than the house, or...
Yes, that is something I like to talk about and encourage men to really consider in your expectations of your wife is she can't do it all. Maybe times you think she can, she can't. She's a person, she's a human, has the same number of days of the week or hours of the day that you do. And if she's working on top of also keeping up with the expectations, you're gonna have to get real specific about what you want to prioritize and what's important to you. And that is definitely one of those things. And I've said it before, and I apologize to those who've heard me say it, but it's good to say again. In our marriage, you know, when we had kids, it's easier now. But when our kids were young, I would, I would definitely just say to Avis, hey, I care about you being fit. That's number 1 on the list. In terms of, I mean, there is basic care of the kids that need to be,
well, yes,
be taken care of. So understand when I say this, I'm saying there's a minimum level of kids and care that need to happen. So understand that is, when you have kids, that is the priority. But then, once you get beyond that, I say get fit, right? Be fit, be attractive, put effort into being as attractive and fun and bubbly and like all those things that men desire ahead of cleaning the house. It's great if you can do that. And, you know, I mean, in practicality, you're gonna have to clean the house at some point. But it doesn't mean it has to be spotless every day.
Yeah, not every day.
If the house is a little bit of a mess Monday through Friday, and Saturday the house gets cleaned, but the other priorities are being met throughout the week, that's okay. And that's keeping your marriage out of some trouble.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what are your 5?
5, do I have 5? So,
5's a big number.
yeah, it's kind of interesting because I can't remember the exact context, and I'm sure I'm gonna butcher it, and I want to be careful that I'm not saying anything that's untrue. But Pearl Davis, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with, you know, she was harping a while back on, you know, men don't care about date night it's something women care about.
Oh, Pearl.
You know, I've said it before. I feel like it's one of those kind of skin of the truth stuffed with a lie topic. Because men, I mean, they, whoa, hitting the bridge. They do care to the extent that it's to the end goal of what their ideals are for their wife. So, yeah, I mean, do men prioritize going on a date with their wife for their benefit, maybe to the degree that a woman does? I don't think so. Not to say men don't enjoy it, it is an enjoyable experience, and I want to make sure we talk to them about that. But it's you know, but to say that they don't care is not true, because if you care about your wife, you're going to care about the things that are feeding and nurturing her, and that's the part that was being missed. Okay, fork in the trail.
I think this is it. If you look at our mileage, because that's going down now.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna grab my phone
already. This is eek.
Yeah.
So, huh?
You want to grab my phone out of my big phone?
Yeah. Let me grab your phone.
We break for intermission.
Let's see. I hope that's not the top, but yeah, it might be. So where do we keep going a bit from here? I was kind of expecting we were going to be up on a, you know, like a mountaintop here.
No, our official trail is over.
Okay. Well, let's walk a little bit further.
We have
Hey, just around the corner down here, and then
parted. Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna. We made it up here quicker than I expected. So I guess that last bit wasn't as difficult as I was thinking it was going to be. We haven't. Here's the thing: we haven't hit the elevation that it said.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, it says we took a wrong turn, and that but it doesn't show me the green line anymore.
Okay, maybe that's our problem. We got off somewhere, because I can't believe we're here.
But no, like the official trail ended.
Okay.
We're past.
Let me see here. Brief intermission. Be right back. Intermission over. Apparently, while we were, you know, jabbing on this topic, we walked right by a turn we missed. Because I knew we still had quite a bit of ways to go. I was like, how the heck?
It, right?
And we did. I don't know. I'm just jabbering right now. We're making our way back to the right route. So I know there's quite a bit of elevation gain that we've not yet gotten to. So I think when we get to where we need to be, it's going to get a little more difficult here. Anyway, so where was I going here?
The purpose of men dating women.
Purpose of men dating women. Yeah, so yes, thank you. That's where I was going. So what we were saying is, I don't know how to say it any different than I already said it. If it's in the interest of your wife, you're going to want to do it, right? And so saying this like men don't care about date nights, I think is baloney. And there are some benefits, right? I mean, it is nice, you know, if we're talking the ideals, right? If you have a wife who's doing a good job of keeping herself up, and you're finding her attractive, and you know, all those things, and getting dressed up and going out to a nice dinner and just enjoying each other, there's benefit in that to men, right?
Well, is it meeting her like love language? Maybe it's not a nice dinner that she likes, but she's a concert girl, you know, like.
Yeah. I think whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think maybe here's a way to say it. Just in a way that you expect your wife to be prioritizing herself in your marriage, you know, for the things that are important to you as the husband, you should also be doing the same, right? Because you're the man, you're the leader, you should be protecting your marriage. And part of protecting your marriage is making sure that your wife is being appropriately fed and cared for and nurtured and all those things that are going to keep enabling her to be the things that you need from her. I don't know if I know any way to say it more succinctly than that.
I think that sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So if that's the ideal, I don't know. Do we say enough about the ideal? I mean, what it is? Because I would like to talk about what is the, you know, what's some like modifications of the ideal for couples that aren't there, right? Like
For couples that aren't what? I didn't hear.
aren't there.
Aren't there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just something I was just kind of thinking of here is we had a thing early on in our relationship, and we were still sorting stuff out, and I go one day and I buy Avis a dozen roses and I bring them home and I'm like, oh, she's gonna love it, and I did not get the reaction I expected. She was, as we've talked about before, when we were young and dealing with kids and sorting through and having just money kind of financial concerns and all that stuff, and she felt that me going out and spending at the time, which was I don't know, $50-$60 on a box of dozen roses, which seems ridiculous, right? It is pretty ridiculous. But she actually got a little upset that I had done that. And so what was the right answer there? Should Avis have just kept her mouth shut? And this, the reason I'm saying this kind of plays into the whole dating thing, right? Because you're expressing, care for your wife, and and this is like you would do those sort of things in dating, right? You give little gifts, you do little things.
Yeah.
So should Avis's reaction have been what it was, which was to get mad that I spent money she felt we didn't have, or should she have just said, okay, well, thank you, show some appreciation for it, which would have resulted in me not kind of maybe understanding to the degree in which she was concerned, that we're managing our finances correctly.
Well, there's a third option.
Okay.
Because the root of it was, yes, money played into it because women and security and things like that. But I also just don't enjoy live flowers in my home. So I could have just handled it more gently, maybe. But well, I was young, we're learning. I handled it poorly, but the message could have been the same, just handled differently.
Just handled in a different way, right? Rather
Yes.
than... Are you watching the map, by the way?
I think I see our turn right here, but I'm going to check the map there.
Okay. Yeah, so this was all extra mileage we decided to do for no reason. It's all right. Hey, we're out here gaining fitness. It's okay. It's going to take us longer to get to the peak, and I think we're about to be in for a world of hurt here.
I apparently don't talk and map well.
So yeah, so you're right. So could you have still delivered the and I think that is an important thing to realize in this realm of like how you're dating your spouse, is that if your spouse attempts to date you in a way that is causing you some difficulties, how should that be handled? How do you communicate that to your spouse in a way that doesn't end in a kind of making things worse, not better?
Yeah. Well, hindsight being 20/20, give appreciation for the gift, and then when it seems appropriate, have one of the hard conversations about, hey, I know this is the first time you bought me flowers, and I really appreciate the effort, but in full disclosure, I don't enjoy live flowers. So in the future, don't feel pressure to buy me live flowers. How would that have hit you?
I think better than it did.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it still would have been like disappointing. You're like, oh, I did this thing, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, when we talk about it, you got to have the hard conversations. I mean, this is part of it, right? You gotta have a mechanism to communicate that, and yeah, sometimes somebody's gonna get hurt. Sometimes it's the woman, sometimes it's the man. That's just reality, right? And you need to talk through those things. Is this gonna be our turn right here up this
I do believe. I will check it.
wash here looking thing?
Yeah.
So, kind of funny story. There was another hike that we've done a bunch of times. It's beautiful. We've never done this hike, but there's one that we've done a bunch of times that
No, we got to keep going.
we still got to go.
Yeah.
That's not the turn. Okay.
Unless.
We really blew it. We missed the turn by a lot.
I think we're on the other side of that big hill in front of us.
Okay. Perfect. Anyways, there was this hike that we do, and she was like, hey, like I am not feeling that today. And that hike, it has elevation gain in the first mile and a half of it that is really freaking brutal.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, all right, yeah, that's fine. We don't have to do that hike. I mean, because I was kind of looking at that one. It's a beautiful hike. I was like, we'll go do something different. And so she was kind of giving me a hard time this morning because when we got out here on this hike, and she actually started studying the elevation profile and all this other stuff, and she was like, okay, so you basically picked that same hike, but we're gonna hike for a couple hours before we get to the point to where the last mile is. Real bear in the same elevation gain that we're trying to avoid. So
Same hike, different name.
yeah. Yeah, so harder. We're gonna probably harder hike today than that one if we'd done that one. But that's okay. We'll go do that one too. We'll take you guys along on that sometime. It's a good one. Okay, where are we going? We're rambling.
We're definitely rambling.
I worked shoulders yesterday, and I haven't done anything better about the.
I can't really hear you anymore.
I said I worked shoulders yesterday, and I haven't done anything different in terms of my camera setup from the last time we did this.
Oh.
Which I'm just kind of holding this,
Right.
Camera setup here, and yeah, my shoulders are a little on fire from working them out yesterday and doing this. But hey, I guess it just adds to the misery that I also consider fun at the same time for some reason. All right, Avis. So we were trying to get into some modifications.
Oh, okay.
We were trying to get
You're
into some,
outstepping me.
we're trying to get into some modifications.
My short legs are getting me.
Is this our turn
Modifications.
here? We keep going.
I think we keep going. I think we got to go around this thing.
Wow, man, we so blew
We
it.
blew it by about a mile at least.
Okay. Well, more
Yeah,
miles
this
than
is
we
not
thought
our
today.
turn.
So modifications. What kind of modifications? So let's just say, I don't know. I gotta think of a scenario, right? You're what? You're young. You got kids. Money's tight. Mm-hmm. You're like, yeah. I hear Tyler saying, go out on a date with your wife, book a babysitter, do that, and you're like, this is your roses story, right? You're like, can't do it. My
Yeah.
wife's gonna freak out if I spend that money because she's not feeling very financially secure at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I mean, how do you modify that? What are some ways that you can think of?
So I think when your kids are young, dating might involve your kids. So I know, like some women will ask their husband, like, make coffee, splurge on coffee, whatever is in your budget, take the kids to a park, and while they play, you sit on a bench and hold hands and talk about life while you watch your children enjoy the afternoon or something. Like, simple things, like, you eat at home because you can't afford to eat out, or you don't want to afford to eat out. So you pack a little snack, and maybe you take the kids with you and go sit at one of your favorite places, and you have a picnic lunch, but your kids are there. So, I mean, it's still dating. You're still making your wife feel special. You've still like planned the event and made it easy for her, as long as doing something like that is easy with the kids. But you know, sometimes you gotta think outside of the box, and if the kids need to be involved, they need to be involved, but that doesn't mean that you can't like take the lead and make your wife feel special.
Okay.
I think that's one way.
It's one way, okay. Any others you can think of? Or is that, I mean, it sounds to me like you're just saying like, hey, if this particular thing that you have to modify is due to financial, there's still things you can do that have low cost, low to no cost.
Yeah.
But still be able to communicate, you know, kind of effective dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Several of my friends enjoy hot baths, and so it's not outside of the norm for their husband to be like, hey, I got the kids for the next 2 hours. Go take a bath, read a book, put your headphones in so you can't hear anything. Like, don't worry about it. I got this. Like, even that is kind of a date. Even though, like, you're not doing the thing together, but you're giving your wife something in the moment of her stage of life that is rare and valuable.
Okay. So
And I guarantee you that gets returned in the bedroom.
and so kind of in the spirit of you as the husband are maybe not as concerned about dating. You know, it's like taking your wife on a date night maybe isn't as important to you as it is to her. It sounds like you're saying even if that's not going out on a date night, showing her affection in that way is still kind of communicating the dating like in the way of giving a gift.
Correct. It is a gift. Yeah, it's a gift that leads to gratitude and affection and appreciation and, you know, all of those things. Or like some of my friends like a nice glass of wine out on the deck, and so they've come home and their husband's like, your wine's waiting out on the deck, I'm putting the kids to bed tonight, I'll meet you out there when that's done, you know, like little things that's why I say you gotta find out like whatever your wife's needs and desires in your current stage of life and financial situation, and those are the ways that you're going to impact her the most in the quote dating situation. Some of those are more, you know, like in certain stages, selfless acts of giving her free time or, you know, whatever it is that she appreciates. And then as your stages of life and your finances change, that's going to evolve. But I'll tell you, a tap on the butt and a kiss on the cheek costs you nothing.
Yeah. So, kind of like veering down a side path here is that, you know, one of the things I hear from a lot of men, I hesitate to say complaining about, because I don't want to discount it because it is a thing that is happening. But, you know, there are women who are, you know, you hear them talking about these, you know, what people are calling modern dating, and these modern women who are dating, and they're like, you know, they won't even go on it. They're like, there's the sixes or whatever, right? 6 feet tall, six figures, like all that stuff that they won't even consider it. Is this the turn we missed?
No.
No, still gotta go. Oh yeah, this is going somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah, we're still working our way around this land feature.
I think we might
here.
have like backtracked almost everything.
Yeah, we've gone a mile already.
A mile backtracking already.
Yeah.
Which means we added at least 2 miles more than we needed to before we hit a turn. So okay, that's fine. Okay, so so, you know, knowing that's kind of out there, and I do think there are some components that, you know, even a lot of these wives, and they're spending their days on social media, and they're being influenced by this stuff. And so now they're looking at their husband, who is like, oh, this guy's not meeting the sixes, you know, and like especially that becomes potentially amplified when he's like, hey, let's go on a date and take the kids to the park. And she's like, no, let's go to Disney World and rent a Mac Daddy room at the Animal Kingdom.
Oh God, please no.
Yeah, I know, you've done that before. But, you know, like, I'm just saying, like, and you know, which is like, I don't even know. I mean, it's been years since we've been to Disney, but I mean, I can recall going and we spent like, you know, 10, 12 grand to take the kids there for a week, stay on the property, get a decent room, like all that stuff. Like, it gets pretty insane. So anyways, but you know, the husband can't do that, right?
Yeah.
So how, I mean, what would you say to those wives who are kind of in that headspace of like, I want to be monetarily showered and my husband is unable to do it, and how do they get that back to a healthy dating place where she's not so hung up on that, and he is, you know, also working towards trying to kind of rectify that situation, because that is part of it.
Yeah. High earning men feel valued, appreciated, and respected. If they're not finding that at home, they're finding that somewhere else. So I think, you know, if you have a man and you want him to be a higher earner, or you're just wanting more financial stability, it starts in the home, and somebody has to give first, right? Like, we can't both be holding our ground and expect to move forward. So you need to start admiring and respecting your man for what he's doing, and that in turn will naturally urge his desire to want to be more of a provider. So I think, yeah, as hard as it is in the moment when you're struggling financially, supporting your man and making his life at home less stressful and more desirable, and making it easier for him to focus his attention on moving up the ladder at work. So I think you have to acknowledge your stage in life and work with your husband and not against him.
Okay, so your basic message is, if I could paraphrase, yeah, I mean, you married this person for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? You there was something that attracted you to them.
Yeah.
That brought you together, and you kind of need to just suck it up.
Yeah.
And like realize that there is a thing there, and if you're feeling, you know, not appreciated enough in your marriage as the woman because your man is not at the status or whatever you want to call that,
Yeah.
as you want him to be, well, you have a role in that.
Yeah.
And you have a role in supporting him and helping him build himself into that thing so that he can be that thing for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, it kind of goes back to what, you know, we say a lot, which is, you got to talk about the hard thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
like marriage is not going to work if you're not willing to work your marriage.
Right.
And this is part of working your marriage. So if you're in that headspace, you know, change the headspace.
Yeah. Quit looking at social media, change the accounts that you're following, like eliminate the ones that are making you feel like your marriage is less than, and start looking at the ones that are going to
That actually connect.
support and encourage you.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, get all the trash out of your life. Is another way of saying it. I cannot believe we're still not back at the turn.
No, I think we're getting close. I feel like we should see it. We should be going up one of these valleys here.
I mean, man, we've not blown a hike this bad in a long time.
Oh, now we walked past it again. Sorry. I didn't see a turn.
We just continue to walk past it. All right.
All right, I'm keeping my phone out this time.
It must be a little bit.
Up here, there's a Y, and there's something that goes left, and it goes uphill.
Maybe the
We
trail.
start going uphill.
I know this is not a super popular hike that we're doing,
Yeah.
so maybe the trail is just not as beaten in. What we're basically walking on now is just a rocky road.
Yeah.
And I thought that at some point when I was looking at the trail that
I think that's what we're looking for. The footpath now.
it turned into a footpath. Yeah. I mean, what's this?
Not it yet.
That's not it. Okay.
I mean, I'm willing to go left anywhere we find one.
All right. The camera, I keep holding it lower.
Lower and lower. I keep trying to not blow my nose, but
Yeah.
the bushes make my nose run. Oh, wow. It was so much easier when we were walking down.
Yeah. Okay. So
Well, if you're keeping track, we're 1.3 miles off trail now.
1.3. I think it's double that.
Extra mileage.
It's double that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. 1.3 since we turned around.
So we're like, yeah, we're gonna end up being like an extra 3 or 4
A lot.
miles
Yeah.
than even this hike was supposed to be. That's okay. Gotta get out
Okay,
and do the hard
anyways.
stuff.
Back to dating. This is a wonderful date. I appreciate your efforts today, sir.
Well, this is a good example. This is the one way that you and I do date. I mean, we used to be into going and, I'm not saying we aren't, we still do it at times, but going out to dinner, getting dressed up, you know, especially when we had kids and going down and getting a babysitter, getting a hotel. I mean, we used to live in Virginia and, you know, we would go to DC. And we'd go downtown and we'd do dinners and, you know, get nice hotel rooms and stuff. And so, you know, we do those things. We like those things. But as we've gotten older, we find a lot of enjoyment in this too.
Okay, left.
Left.
This is why we
Where is the trail?
haven't
So
seen it.
it's just like basically like
I see something there, but it looks more like a
beat your
animal.
own path. Let's see. This might be more bushwhacking than trail.
I see footprints. Are those yours? Animal footprints?
I mean, is this showing us on trail?
No. No, it's more this way. A little more this way. Okay, that's it right there.
That's it? You see it?
This.
I do not really make out a
See
trail.
this? This is technically, I believe, the trail.
Right in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. I've not really seen a discernible trail here.
Me either. Hold on. I'm going away from it again. Well, I feel a little justified in that I passed it twice.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like a trail. I mean, I guess this is it. I'm kind of seeing it. You guys,
Yeah, it should
you guys
be.
take a look. What do you think? I mean, not looking too much like a trail to me.
We technically have not hit the green line.
You're on the green line? For
No.
trails?
Not fully.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
this
there's
I
something.
think this
Okay,
is it right here.
here we go.
Now we're on the
See
line.
here,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of trail.
Oh yeah, this is a kicker. This is great. I love this.
Yeah, this is
gonna
going to
have
be
Oh, my
that other
phone.
hike we avoided. Doing, same for probably this last mile, whatever this ends up being. And,
Okay.
you know, with a bunch of miles under our belt before we even get to it. Anyway, it's all for fun, right?
Yeah, I'm having fun actually.
Okay. So let's keep chatterboxing here. Chatterboxing.
Yeah.
Is that aging me? I don't know. I don't even know if I've ever even said that word before. Chatterbox. I probably have. It's a word I usually use for teenage girls.
Golly, straight
What's
up.
that?
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. It's always hard to tell on camera just how steep this stuff is, but or I don't know, maybe get a better idea if I'll show you that way. Here, I see it right here. This is
Okay.
it. Okay. So, are we gonna be able to continue to have this conversation, or are we breathing too hard? Serious elevation gain all of a sudden. All right, so where were we going with that, Avis?
You asked, what if a woman is unhappy with what her husband can provide,
Yeah.
dating wise? I'm coming.
You might have to bite off easier hikes. We're gonna keep doing this. Because man, when you start to breathing is hard. It's hard to talk, especially when you're up at a little bit of elevation. Okay, let's go. Can we keep this thing going?
Sure.
Is that a no?
Pardon me?
So was that a no?
No, I said sure.
Okay.
Yeah, this can't go for very long. Okay.
So, what? I know the people listening to this are like, get to the point already, man. I'm sorry. I'm probably not even gonna look at my heart rate right now.
What?
I said I'm not even gonna look at my heart rate right now.
Oh. I'm coming.
Okay, so what are the... So we talked about basically the woman just sucking it up, and there's a trail I got off it.
Ow.
And they are, invest in your husband
Yes.
so that he can invest in you.
Yes.
And
Let's go more
That
this
was-
way.
I think
Okay, we'll go that way. It's fine.
this looks like a trail here. And I think, Gia McCool, I've heard her talk about this a little bit. She might even talk about it today, honestly. About you need, the couples that invest in their relationships and grow together. I mean, those are the best relationships, right? You've been through some stuff together. You worked through the stuff, and if you're not supporting your husband, and he goes out and wins without your help, that's going to be a little tough for him to be appreciating you and how you helped him win.
Yeah.
And but if you are kind of appreciating him and helping him win, and not just being a burden or this squeaky voice, squeaky wheel, he's gonna have a lot more appreciation for you when you find success. And I assure you, if you invest in your husband in the right way, and you guys have the right principles in your marriage, he will absolutely find success. And I'm sure I can hear people saying, "But Rob and Avis, I've done that. I've supported him. I've done whatever. He's not finding the success." And I would say, well, that probably just means you think you are.
Right? Time for a hard conversation.
Right.
Hey babe, I've been doing this and you're not appreciating it.
Right. Like you're not finding the success I want you to find. I'm hoping you'll find what am I doing on my part, making that more difficult. So, all right. So what are some other? So we talked about. I think we kind of beat up on that enough about the. Some you can do stuff that doesn't cost money to modify.
Yeah.
But what are some other ways that maybe people aren't thinking of that, or other ways to modify? Maybe you're in between, right? Maybe you don't have money to go, enough disposable income to go kind of spend a little recklessly and wild at times for fun, but you're okay enough that you can do some normal things. I mean, you and I used to go to the movies. I know sometimes we've had discussions about, like, was that really a good date or not? I don't know. I mean, kind of to your point earlier about we curled up and watched a movie together last night. I guess just the fact of spending some time together can be a thing.
Yes. There were some movies I wanted to see and you took me out to see them. But usually you're the driver of seeing the movies because you enjoy that.
Yeah. Man, we're getting into a little bit more of a kind of rock scrambling here a little bit.
Definitely rock scrambling.
I'm guessing it just follows this ridge line.
Yeah. The green line is a little more to the right than we've been traveling, but we're in feet of it.
Yeah.
And I don't see any obvious trails.
Yeah. Don't want to fall that way. That is a rather sheer drop there.
I mean,
this way's, I think it's better. You'd still be having some trouble if you fell off of that, but not as bad as over there. Okay. So.
Yeah, this kind of a date, make sure your girl is into it.
Come on, it's got some excitement. It's got some adversity because you took the wrong way. Now we got some difficulty.
Bottom line is we have all day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. We'll be fine.
And we have some food.
Yeah.
I could live here for a day if I had to.
Probably get a little cold tonight. All right. I might, unfortunately, need to put this camera down because it's seriously slowing me down. I'm trying to hold this camera.
The camera or your wife? It might be me slowing you down.
Well, if you're keeping up okay, or if you're having trouble keeping up, maybe I don't need to, but it's definitely feel like it's slowing me down right now.
Yeah, I think in whatever way you and your spouse agree, keep dating, whether that's touches during the day, little acts of service if that's your spouse's thing. Just letting your spouse know that you hear them, you see them, you appreciate them. And even if there's not all of the things you appreciate them, rejoice in the ones that you do. Foster those. The others will slowly come along.
I think that's good advice because, like, nobody's going to meet their partner's needs with 100% accuracy all the time.
That's right. I mean, this month we're avoiding Movember.
Yeah.
We're just letting it happen.
For example, yes. He was not at all crazy about this. But hey, we're still going to let it slide and let it be a thing. And then it'll be gone next month. So.
Yes, it'll be gone next month.
Views out there.
Oof, oof, oof.
Ooh, careful, won't fall.
I got it.
Not as sheer of a drop on this part as it was over there. Okay. Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that.
Oh, and flirting too. Like, I like it when you pat my butt during the day, and sometimes I would just present my butt for you to give it a little tap.
You do sometimes.
I'm
do
like,
that.
it's been 2 hours. Where have you been in my life, sir?
And I very much appreciate it being a very pattable butt. That's nice to have in your life. Yeah, so let's, I have no idea how long this is. I don't even know. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna have to be 2 parts or what's going on here. But
We've lost all track of trailing time.
I've lost track of time. But from all right, so we've talked a good bit about, you know, kind of some ways the man can do some things with the dates and the butt patting, and I mean, what's a way the woman dates her man in terms of, like, he has things he cares about, right? And to me, that's kind of more like, that is, rather than a date night, it's like a date priorities or something. I don't know what to call it, but like, if you're prioritizing the things that he needs out of you, you're it plays a lot into, you know, a man, an attraction for a man and what he needs out of you. So I probably feel like I'm repeating myself a lot because I'm getting out of breath.
Yeah, well, I think we're just coming up with multiple examples of the basic dating principle is know what your spouse would like from dating, quote dating, know their love language, what they appreciate, however you want to put it, and do your best in your current situation to meet them in ways that they're going to most appreciate.
Yeah.
On the daily, and then for the special dates, especially. Ooh, this is fun.
All right, which way does it go? Got another drop off here. Some kind of little structure down there.
Yeah.
Not sure what that is.
We walked past that a couple times.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. All right, I think which way to go? This way?
Let me look.
Yeah, careful right here. This would be a bad spot to take a tumble.
Yeah, we are back on the green line. This is it. Okay. Here we go.
Quick story. Avis. Look at that, cut myself. Avis, we were out hiking when we were younger in some snow once, and she took a fall and fell and slid down a bunch of steep switchbacks, and that was a pretty close call, and I basically just like was leaping after her as fast as I could, and got my hand on your ankle as you were sliding backwards just before you plowed into a big boulder. You remember that?
I do.
And that was pretty sketchy and scary moment.
You led me off trail. Remember, I'm a rule follower, and I was staying on the switchbacks, and you were cutting them and waiting for me. And I was like, I don't know, man. As soon as I took one step off trail.
Well, you just got me in trouble now because you're not supposed to cut switchbacks.
Oh.
We know that now. When we were younger, we didn't know that.
This is true.
That was not something I was familiar with in the hiking etiquette. We were kind of new to it. And, we were just trying to get back as quick as we could. So, yeah, don't cut switchbacks. It's not a thing you should be doing. It's not good for the trails. But, yeah.
Wow, how there's such a nice defined trail way up here.
I know.
Not really sure.
Trail's getting a little more defined. All right. So, what else we want to say?
I don't know. I think I said all of it. Didn't I? I don't know. I'm thinking.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut the camera off. And we're gonna keep making our way up to this peak. I don't know. Oh man, look at see how much blood? Got myself pretty good back there on a stick.
You're
But I
bleeding?
got a first aid kit if I need it.
This is true.
Yeah, you see? I know you're not surprised.
No.
So, yeah, I think I'm gonna shut the camera down. Might rinse the blood off my hand here and regroup. We'll make it to the summit, give you guys a peek, and maybe we'll think of some more, just kind of insight to share from our point of view. I don't know. So,
And I would love to hear ideas from other people.
yeah,
If you have ideas for date modifications that work for you,
I do like to say that.
your
yeah, for
budget, your
sure.
stage of life.
Like, we don't know it all, right? We're just sharing
No.
our experience. And, yeah, so, okay, shutting the camera down. We'll see you back in just a minute. I have no idea what just a minute means for us.
Hold on. Ow. wait. Okay,
I got you.
you got me.
I got you.
Okay.
There you go. Come on by. There you go.
Where did you say
This
the
way.
mountain lion
Right,
lives?
right.
Oh.
This is as far as we go. I think we could continue this ridge line, but we already blew our hike by miles and hours. Much further out here than we intended to be, or much longer and more miles. So we're gonna say this is as far as we're taking it on this ridge line. It's been a beautiful hike. I think it's been about an hour since I shut the camera off, so I'll give you some sense of how much further we've gone, and a lot of elevation gain. So I don't know if I have any final words on this topic of dating in your marriage. Just do it. There's a lot of good resources out there. I named a couple of them, during this little video we're making here, this little podcast, whatever we're calling this thing. And, some people out there that have been in good relationships that weren't so good, they made them good. Just people that have had good relationships the whole time. Like, I listen to everybody, everybody's got some feedback.
Yeah.
Importantly, if they have some stuff figured out, right? But I think even the people that don't have stuff figured out, it's probably still worth just hearing from them because we can all learn from each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for traveling along with us today. I'm putting the camera down and back away, and we got a long way back to the car.
And you're bleeding in like 3 areas I can see.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of prickly stuff up here. Okay, see you guys in the next one.
Bye.